the first pasuk, Yarchiv. It gives him space, and he's the big winner. The guy who gives a charity is even he's a bigger winner than the one that receives a charity because he has a big mitzvah. It gives him space, and it does another thing for him, as it says here. Somebody who gives money to charity will wind up with the big people, with the great people in society, the uh, politicals, the runs the government, and the wealthy classes. Again, Maise, Matan Adam. What a person Matan is giving, Adam, what a man gives charity, Yachivo, it gives him relaxation, relief, space. Relief day, Gedolin Yancheno, and it'll place him up on the top level of society. Mahu Matan Adam Yarchivlo. Here's an illustration how somebody who got wealthy, his life was broadened. Where he was in a neat, narrow space, he got wide space. That means in everything. Maishe Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yoshua. There's a story about Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yoshua, two of the greatest Tanoim, teachers of the Talmud, and they're also the teachers of the Midrash. The Midrash is Talmudic. Shiyatsu Ligvois La Asek Mitzvahs Rabosenu. They were sent out. They went out to the cities to appeal for money for the rabbinical charities. What the rabbis had the charities of the soup kitchens, the people who were poor and needed sustenance. The rabbis took care of all the charities that there wasn't a federation, or if there was a federation, it was under the rabbis. So this Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yoshua, they were agents of the rabbis, deputized, delegated to raise money for the poor. And for the yeshivas also, Torah study, pay the salaries of the teachers, pay the food for the students and their dormitories. So here comes Hochu Lechelasa Shel Antiochia. He went to Antioch, a city, Antiochia. V'haya Sham Adam, in this big city of Antioch. I don't believe it's in Israel. It was in I think it was in Greece or Rome. I don't know. Maybe it was in Israel. I don't. But it was a city where there were Jews. V'hayasham Adam Echad. There was a fellow, a fellow who was named Vayanikra Abba Yudin. Abba Yudin. Abba Yudin was this guy who lived in Antioch, where Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Yoshua came to raise money. Hayalamod litain Rabbi Seinu biyad rechava. Hey, those two rabbis came, they were a yearly collection, and these two rabbis, they were the collectors that were sent to the city of Antioch, and Abba Yudin was one of the big givers. Big giving is called Biyad Rechava, with a wide hand. Yad is wide and Rechava is broad, wide. But what happened? Nasa also Abba Yudin Unni. Unfortunately, Abba Yudin was a wealthy man, became poor. He lost his possessions. You know what happened? He went bankrupt. Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yoshua, Sheholchu Ligbo Sham. Rabbi, he saw this Abba Yudin who bankrupted, and here every year he gave them Biyad Rechaba with a wide hand, and now he doesn't have what to give. When he saw them, what did he do? He hid. Lo Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yoshua Sheholchu Ligbois Sham. Hey, he saw these two rabbis. Every year they came to appeal, and they went to knock on doors, and they went, to appeal for money. They were the emissaries of the rabbis. V'hit minatzvo, he hid himself. He ran quick, went behind closed doors because he was ashamed that he couldn't give any money. V'hit minatzmo mitnehem. V'Allah lebeso, he went up to his house, which is his apartment was on the second floor. V'asa yom b'shanim below yarad yom b'shnayim below yarad l'shuk. He stayed upstairs, stayed in his home, and he stayed 2 days in his home. Probably had like anything there, and if he was, no person unless they were sick would stay 2 days in their apartment. But he stayed because he didn't want to bump in to Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yoshua, who knew him so well and received him well, and he gave them large contributions, and now he couldn't. Below Yarad Lishuk, 2 days he stayed in his apartment, and he didn't go down to the marketplace. Amra lo Ishto, his wife said to him, Itnema Lo Yarada told the Shuk, hey, why aren't you going out to the market? Hurry, snay you. I mean, it's already 2 days that you didn't leave the apartment. You're not sick. Why don't you go down? Get some stuff on my law. He said to his wife, Amele Torah. The rabbis have come. It's their collection, yearly collection time, and they're circulating in the streets downstairs. They came to raise money for what the rabbis needed to distribute. The mitzvahs of Amele Torah, the mitzvahs of those who work for Torah. The ain't shipit beyond leaking lahem. And I don't have what to give them. אני מתבייש. I'm embarrassed. I'm ashamed. Leave the shuk to go down to the market. To answer your question, you say, why am I staying here? Locked up in our apartment where we ain't got no air conditioner and the only fresh air is if we go down into the street. No. What are you staying up here for? His wife asks him. He says, wait. He says, I'm embarrassed because the rabbis are circulating in the street. They know me well. And I always give them big time, big donations, and now I can't give them anything. I am embarrassed to go down into the marketplace. So it says, Ishto, his wife, Shahoisha Oheves Esa Mitzvahs. His wife, hey, they didn't have no differences in terms. She loved all the mitzvahs. She was a religious woman, a frum woman. There was no fighting between them, or there was plenty shalom bayis, and she loved the mistress. Somehow he must have kept it from her that he's bankrupt. I don't know if the Midrash deals with that because but he told her now that I don't have a nickel to my name. I don't have anything to give to them. Ishto shehoisa ohabes esa mitzvos, his wife, who liked the mitzvahs. Hey, some people who keep the mitzvahs even though they feel it's a bother. They're not happy to do mitzvahs. Hey, Midrash is saying something here, telling us something. Yeah, everybody should like the mistress. Like wife, especially there were women who didn't like the mistress. Didn't like their husbands are giving stuff. You're giving away from your salary, you're giving away from our income. Stop giving so much. And, it was up to them, they wouldn't give any sucker. But Ishto, this guy's wife, Abayud Shohaisa Ohabis Esa Mitzvahs. Almost said to him, look, you say you're broke. Only Shiur Lonu Saga Achas. What wasn't one field that we still have? We had a lot of fields. You had hundreds of fields. We don't even have one field left. You want to go out to the marketplace and you want to give them some money. So do this. If we got one field left, go sell half the field. Machor Chetya, sell half the field. The no land. Okay, half the field you get a nice, for a whole field you get 1,000 shekels, golden, whatever. And half the field you get 500. You'll get 500 is a decent donation. And so go sell half, and we'll still be left with half a field. So go sell it and give the what you got for the half a field. Give me them the money, and you'll be able to go in the street and show your face. Hola, King. Abayudin went and he did exactly as his wife told him. Later on in the Midrash, there was a case of there were women in the Torah that gave their husband bad advice. Their husbands lost out because of it, and there were women who gave their husbands good advice. And husbands did the right thing by listening to them. But I don't know if we'll get to that. Hopefully, in one time in Medrash, we'll get to that. But now, which this lady was a good lady and told him what to do. We had one field, and he probably so happy to hear from her that, hey, they got the one field left, and she's telling me you could sell for sucker. Hooray! He was happy. He went around and sold it. Halak Basakain. Mocharosh Chatzi Soda Bechamisha Zehuvin. He sold the half of the field for 5 pieces of gold. All right, that's and wound up to 500 shekels. 5 pieces of gold. Vinasano son Lirabosenu. He said, give this to the rabbis who are in charge of the funds. The Amalahem. And he told them, look, Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Yeshua were big gedolim. They were the heads of they were the rabbis who also oversaw the distribution of the money. And they were the gedolim. Everybody knew Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Yeshua gave them the money. And then here's what he asked of them. Okay, let's see. So he went and he sold it to Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi Eliezer. But Amalahan, he told he was an opportunist. I mean, he got the attention of Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi Eliezer. He made them happy. Amalami said to them, he's Palalu alive. Pray for me. Give me a bracha. He's Palalu alive. So they did pray for him. So took his name and his mother's name, and he went to the Ohel or Tzaddikim. They prayed for him that he become real rich again. Probably told them what he did to get this 5 gold pieces, which was a nice donation. So he's following along. They prayed for him for Amrulo. Right there and then they give him you want to hear the prayer that they said for him? It's right here now in the Midrash. He's following along. They prayed for him and they said, Amrulo, Hamakom Yemale Chasronech, the omnipotent, the omnipresent Hamakom. That's God is called in a lot of places. Hamakom, the place. God is the Koimer Shaloilam, place of the world. Go to say condolence to somebody. What name of God do we use? Hamakom God should console you amongst all the mourners of Zion in Jerusalem. But they use Hamakom, the place. Well, God is all over. There is no place where God is not. Lest in the Holy Zohar it says, Lest asar ponui minei. There's no place which is void of God. God is every place. Right here in my home, giving me the energy to teach, and in your homes, giving you the energy to listen. And so I'm just talking to you now about the name of God. That God has many names. Not one of the holy names. I mean, just alluded to because God is omnipresent, omniscient, all everywhere, all knowing, and omnipotent. He has power. See, we should be, we should study God. And we can know a lot about God. That means God's existence. We can't know. It's not sure the human mind can't grasp God. His essence, certainly his existence. He revealed himself so many times in history to us and to all of us, 3 million people at Sinai. And we heard his voice. But we couldn't see his essence, and we could hear him. And Moses, Moshe Rabbeinu was the one who saw or knew the most about God to himself. That I speak to him mouth to mouth like one person speaks to another. All prophets flipped out when they felt prophecy descending upon them. They fell on the floor. They were like having a seizure. And the words of God entered their mind. Moshe could stand straight with his eyes open. But he was a human being. His his mother was Yochebed and his father was Amram. So, oh boy, did they have nachas. So, okay. So he asked these rabbis, pray for me. His father was alive. These follow love, Amrulo, Hamakom Yemale Chesronek. That's a popular blessing for somebody who became poor. But mostly for somebody who became poor. Hamakom, the omnipotent, the omnipresent. Yemale Chesronek. Should fill the thing you lost. If you lost this whole bundle, you lost $1 million. God should give you back $1 million. What you lost, God should see that whatever you lost should be refilled. And what happened? The blessing worked. Hachulahem Rabosenu Ligvos B'makom acher, and then they left him to go and collect someplace else. Also, Abba Yudin went and Chorash Chatzi Sodeh. Seems he had overlooked that he had that field, and his wife knew about it and told him, go sell half of it. Now he knows the field, so he went back to plow in the field. Osa Abba Yudin, Chorash Chatzi Sodeh. He plowed in the other half of the field, what half he sold. So he wanted to build up this the half of field that he still has. From Sima, Gedoyla. He found it in a big treasure box. Acher. Wow. Also, aber Juden, Chorz B'chatzi Shadeh, Wasser from Sima, Gedoyla. Benashe Usher, from this treasure that he found in the other half of his field, Benashe Usher Yasher Mimasha Hoya Kodem. He was a bigger mogul, millionaire that he was before from this treasure that he found. Wow. So, boy, the blessing of those rabbis worked. That should fill your loss. He made up and made much more than his loss. So Nasa Asher Yosher Mimasha Haya Kodem. He became richer than he was before. Ach Rabosenu Chosrin Aburo. The rabbis came back to him. Now it's their time for collection. Also Malcolm and Antioch, and they came to his address where his field was. Okay. Rabosenu Chosrin Avru B'Osho Makom. They came to where Rabbi Yudin lived. Amru Le'echad. They said, hey, they didn't see Rabbi Yudin. They want to know where to find him. Hayecha Hamideyu im Abba Yudin. Hey, these two big rabbis, Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua, are asking of a yid in the streets of Antioch or near the home of Abba Yudin. Can you place us with? Can you get us? We want to speak to Abba Yudin, and they didn't know that he became so wealthy, and that their blessing was so effective. Amro lo, ein anu mevakshin ela shelo. I'm skipping lines in my vision isn't absolute best. Amar lahem osho ha'ish. You're telling me, rabbis, that I should connect you, place you together with Abba Yudin. Where is he? Where can we find him? We want to be with him. And this guy whom they asked, please place us with Abba Yudin. So this guy answers him. They wanted him to give the rabbis probably knew this guy knew what's happening in the city. And he just said, okay, where is Abba Yudin? They didn't know who became so wealthy. Umi Yakolamo Rima Melech below Imo. Hey, I could easily get you to stand with the king, but not with Rabbi Yudin. He's such a big, great man. Amrulo, Ein Anu Mevaksim, Elo Shelo Yeda Sha'avarnu Kan, Below Sha'alnu, Shlomo. Hey, we're not going to ask anything of him. We just want him to know that we're his friend, and we wanted to know that we didn't want him to think that we were here. He'll hear that we were here, and we didn't ask about him. So that's all we want to know. How's he doing? Okay, again, they told this guy who's supposed to know where everybody is, and he asked, he's the one, place us next to Abba Yudin, and it'll be easier to place you next to the king. Well, he wants to make a big request of him. He said, no, ain't on with vaccine. Ella, what we want is Shelo Yeda Sha'aranu. And he should know that we came around here. We didn't ask about him. Shabanu Khan below Sha'anu. Shlomo, we didn't ask about how he's doing. Yada Abba Yudin got the word. He got that they're there. The rabbis, Rabbi Yeshua, his old pals, Rabbi Yeshua. and Rabbi Eliezer, Yoda Abba Yudin Ubotzlam. Hey, they didn't have to, Rabbi Yudin heard through security, through the CIA. He was well fixed and he knew everything that was going on. So he heard that, hey, the rabbis are here, Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi Lezer, and they want to see you. And he ran. Hey, they're his buddies. Yada Abba Yudenu Ba Etzlam. B'nasan Lahem Elef Zehuvim. Remember the last donation he gave him the year before he found these diamonds buried in his other half of the field? He gave him 5 Zehuvim, right? I said that was a good contribution. What did he give him now? 1,000 Zehuvim. 1,000 golden pieces. Amar Lahem, he said to them, Asasat Vilaschem, Peiros. Hey, rabbis, your prayers brought good fruits, huh? Like, he's a multimillionaire now. Just a little. Asasa, he's telling him these words. Asasa Tvilaschem, Peiros. Your prayers brought fruits. Gave them 1,000 zehuvim, 1,000 pieces of gold. Here in the States, 1,000 pieces of gold would be a very nice donation. Wonderful, a great donation. Amrulo, and so they answered, Rabbi Lezer and Rabbi Yeshua answered Abba Yudin, said, Amrulo, Af anu hayinu yodim b'masecha. We knew about your deeds. I told you your good deeds. Rosh Perek. We gave you a high rank in the whole state, head of a whole village. And we made you a count, duke. We thought that we knew of all your good deeds that you were doing now that you had this money. So we made you, we rabbis, we have the power to do this. We knew of your good deeds. Af anu hayinu yojim b'masecha hatovim. We knew of your good deeds. Vasinu oscha rosh perek. We made you a count, a man of rank. Karu alav Rabosenu. So our rabbis called him. They pointed to him. Rabosenu. Our rabbis called him. They brought the pasuk. Matan Adram Yarkevlo. How did he manage to get this tremendous affluence and the strength of count, whatever that Rosh Perek means? Because he was an example of the fulfillment of this of the pasuk in Mishlei that we started with Matan Odom Yarkiblo. What a man gives, what he gives away, what he gives to charity, that will widen his scope in the world. And not only that, but Lifnei Gedolim Yanichenu. He will be placed by the big shots of the country who become a big man, become an ambassador or whatever. He'll become an ambassador. So the wealthy man, big man. Davar Acher, another story. Maise Berebi Chia. It's a story of Rabbi Chia. Oh yeah, we know Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua, and we know Rabbi Chia. We've heard of it. Maise Berebi Chia. שעשה נדבה בבית המדרש הגדול שבטבריה. Rabbi Chia gave a big donation to the base of Midrash. Tiberius, that is Eretz Yisrael, Tvarya. I've been in Tvarya. The Rambam's buried there. Upasak Adam Echad Litra Shel Zahav. One guy donated a litra, big amount, a bundle, gold. Naklo Rabbi Kia, Oshivo, Exlo. Hey, this guy, you got money, you get honor. That's what this pasuk says. That we're just living matnas, matan, odem yarkiblo. Negatively, yeah, and negatively, Jan Fennel is replaced by the Gedolim, by the big shots in the community. You don't get a back seat in the shoe. He sits up on the Mizrach Wand and the Western Wall, where all the big shots, the big Talmid Chachamim and big wealthy donors sit. So this is what happened here. Maise, Maise Rabbi Chia, שעשה נדבה בבית המדרש הגדול בטבריה שבטבריה. פסק אדם אחד ליטרה של זהב. And somebody else gave a weighty piece of gold. Naklo Rabbi Chia took him. Shivo, Exlo. Hey, Rabbi Shiva, in the shul, the Midrash band. You're supposed to face Midrash, right? The art in the shul should be East Midrash. And the greatest rabbis and Gaboyim and the people who are the most successful people, there's a row, and depending to what your position is, you sit by that wall. Not everybody can sit by that wall. You got to be a gadol, you have to be a big scholar, and you have to be a big talker, you have to be a big doer, and then you can sit. It's like four guys sitting on one side of the Aron HaKodesh, which is in the Midrash in the east, and four guys sitting on one side of the Ark, or, and four guys sitting on the other. Platform and the steps are in the middle. But this is also a matan on what put you in the Midrash. That's a place of esteem. Yeah, yeah, what you gave, giving is important. And when Rabbi Chia placed this fellow who gave the litra of Zav, he announced, he said the Pasuk. So why he's here? Because Matan Adam, his gift. Yachiblo is a special place. And belief naked it'll bring him up to the good, the big, the great people of the city. He'll sit with them. Dover Acher, another story. Maise Bereish Lachish. That's the brother-in-law of Rabbi Yochanan. He was a great rabbi. He didn't start it out one, but he became one. Maise Bereish Lachish. Sheholach leBotzra went to Basra. Haya Sham Adam Echad Nikra Abin Ramah. There was a guy in this city where Rish Lakish went, and he was called Abin, was his first name, and his nickname was Ramah, cheater. Abin the cheater, the trickster. The Ramos is Ramos is a cheater, a liar. And this guy had the name, but look at how the rabbis say here in the. He's called Abin, the liar, the trickster, the cheater, and so. But I never saw such a in a Midrash or in the Gemara about what it's going to say. Hey, come on. We're not saying he wasn't really a liar, a cheater, a crook. He just called him like, and they would put quotation marks by his name, Ramah. That was a nice title because of something he did. Now here, what did he do? Below Shahaya Ramoy Chas v'Sholem, and not that he was really a Ramoy, Lovin was a Ramoy in the in scripture. Ramoy is a trickster, a fooler. Uh, he was. He didn't deal squarely with the people. Ramoy, he fooled people. He cheated people. So here the Midrash said, but wait a minute, wait. He wasn't a liar, a cheater, a trickster. He, below Shahaya Ramoy Chas v'Sholem. So what was he? Why do you call him a trickster? Ella Shahaya Mirame b'mitzvah. He he uh, he lied in mitzvahs. What does that mean? That's how we got people to give money. Look at his strategy. Ela Shahaya Mirame b'mitzvahs. He fooled people in, in the area of mitzvahs, not in the area of Abeirot Chashvah. Here's what he did. Shahaya HaKohel Posek the whole community pledged what they're giving. Achar Kach Posek Keneged Kol HaKohel. Hey, this guy, he matched the contributions of the whole congregation. In other words, if the whole congregation collected between everybody $1,000, 1,000 gold pieces, he gave 1,000 to match that. Hey, that's no cheater, that's no liar. But here's how he did it. Inosan keneged kol hakoho. And he saw that this guy, this was this thing he gave. Keneged kol hakoho. He matched the money of the whole congregation. And so Rish Lakish took him, gave him a handshake, and motioned to him to come and sit next to him. Well, Shiva went slow. Lakish put this guy who was nicknamed the Abin Ramah, Abin the trickster, the Coral of Matan Adam Yashivlo, because he was such a big giver. He unfortunate that he would just tell him, "I'm not giving this year." That's how So they had to give money, make up for what he didn't give. And that was his lie, and that was his trickery. Because after they collected, and they even collected more because he said he's not giving this year. So they raised more from the whole Kahila to cover what he didn't get in terms of their budgetary needs. Then he gave the money, all of it, and even more, because they collected already more to cover what he would match with that. So he was a great man. It was just that, he raised money with that trickery. And therefore, not Rish Lakish, well, Shivu Etzlo. Rish Lakish was a very respected Gaon, Talmud Chacham in the time of the rabbis. And he went to the city and he gave it and he saw what was going on there. And he met this Abin Rambo, Abin the liar, the trickster, But always do things like that and then come up with even greater money. Omar Rabbi Abuho. And what do we hear? Rabbi Abua comes along and say, "Hey, we can learn this all from another place. Mali l'makomacher, lemo mi como. Why don't you learn from this place right here? Max l'mayla. What does it say? Yud beis yutes hisham lacha pen tazo es halevi. Gotta be careful. Not the Levi has no fields of he has no income and fields in. That's why you have to give him a tithe. So it says there in this parsha, Hisham Melacha Pen Azov as Levi. Be careful not to leave the Levi without giving him his full need. Nicer. Make sure that every Levi has his share of misery. That's who you give a tenth. You have to give a tenth to the Levi. V'achar kach yachiv Hashem alokecha es gvucha. Then God, if they put this connection. If you're good and you give the Levi his harchava, his wideness, and it says Yarchiv Hashem Elokecha es gvucha. That's the part here in Re'eh that they're darshaning. Yarchiv Hashem Elokecha. God, your God, will widen as gvucha. Asher diber lach, like he told you that he would. If you took care of the poor, if you took care of the Levi, you can breathe. Wideness is concerned, scope large, your scope is large, and your abilities are large, and your income is large and wide. And in other words, they're giving to the Levi and not skipping. Make sure you give them a full 10% of your crop. That's your matan. That's your giving. So that's your matan of them yachiblo. What you give will come back to you and will make you wealthier and replace you. It's a big act. Coins ambassador account. Uh, you'll get a big title or a big position. You'll sit amongst the big shots. So we learned a full block. I think the time is now 10:30.
It's a little after 10:30. It's 10:35. Thank
Yeah.
you, Rabbi. Very interesting story.
I think
Thank you.
anybody like to say so? Who do we have on? We have Jonathan and we
Yes,
Dr.
Dr. Sher, Dr. Sher was on, but
Cher,
forget the
Joel,
Come on.
Moshe Lipschitz. Who else?
maybe that's all.
Well, whoever can, and then I believe it's on. People can take it off. But Moshe Lipschitz made that people could pick it off the internet. So we never really know. But okay, listen, I thank you for participating.
Very
Have a
good.
good Shabbos
A good Shabbos, Rabbi.
Good Shabbos.
and feel good.
Thank you. Be well. Be well, Rabbi.
All any news that anybody heard that we haven't heard?
I haven't heard of any. I haven't
Okay.
heard of any news. No, it- we're always interested in what's happening in Israel, but it's not easy to understand. It seems to change every day.
Well, we should pray for Israel that everything should come out, that those hostages should be saved.
Amen.
But I heard this. I heard uh, Netanyahu Bibi talking and saying